let's get into Balaam has a vision.
Is he being stupid, or is this still him being okay?
This is the rule of 3.
Okay, yes. Okay, yes.
Yes, on both.
Okay, yes. So he is being stupid still.
But this is the rule of 3, as you were saying yesterday.
They do it in comedy, too.
Yeah, but in this one...
It's a bad.
It's actually really good for God. But Balaam gets to get his rear chewed out. So,
please, can I do this? No. Please, can I do this? No. Please, can I do this?
No. No, Balaam doesn't even get to that point. He just goes, please, can I do this? No. They want to do it again. If they come to you, okay, thanks, bye. He doesn't even... You didn't finish the whole rule of 3 on that one. So he goes to Balak, and he does 2, and Balak's like, you're blessing them? Did I miss something in my explanation here? Curse, not bless. Okay, let's go to the third one.
We're speaking a different language here.
Yeah, and so
I believe it's your turn, or is it mine to do a prayer?
I don't remember. I'll just go ahead.
Okay.
Father in heaven, we thank thee very much that we're able to be together and we can have this time to read and to study thy word. We ask thee to please help us to understand what thou wouldst have us to know, and please help us to share this in a good way that will bless and benefit the lives of others. We thank thee for thy blessings, and we thank thee for this beautiful day, and that we are able to be together and have this time with thee. And we say these things and do so humbly in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Alrighty. So, chapter 24, Balaam sees in vision and prophesies of the destiny of Israel. He prophesies of the Messiah. There will come a star out of Jacob, and a scepter will rise out of Israel. And Balak sitting there going, dude! Dude! Okay, so...
And when Balaam saw that it pleased the Lord to bless Israel, he went not as at other times to seek for enchantments, but he set his face toward the wilderness.
So it's interesting. He is actually...
Oh, he's aware.
He is actually contacting God through potentially negative enchantments. He's pulling up enchantments. Yeah.
So sort of like somebody's calling on Heavenly Father through a crystal ball, so to speak.
Let's not say that that's what it was, but
for proof of concept and representation, crystal ball.
Yeah. For all we know, that's the kind of thing that it is. So, and Balaam lifted up his eyes, and he saw Israel abiding in his tents, according to their tribes. And the Spirit of the Lord came upon him.
This is the start of the vision.
Yeah.
And he took up his parable and said...
Figurative discourse. Okay.
Got it. Balaam the son of Beor. Okay, I was right the first time. Yeah. Beor hath said, and the man whose eyes are open hath said.
So, yeah.
I have clearly stated this. You do not need to be clarification.
But he's saying, I'm seeing a vision. You know, he's starting with that. Now, let's be a little iffy and say that maybe some of what he would do before was to take some kind of hallucinogen. Who knows?
That's a possibility.
But, you know, he obviously has a good connection and contact and relationship with God, so he may not be doing anything really crazy, but he's doing something.
Heavenly Father may not be the happiest with how he's doing it, but he's still at least being courteous and connecting with him because he is trying.
Right. So, okay. He hath said, which heard the words of God, which saw the vision of the Almighty, falling into a trance, but having his eyes open. So it could just be a type of meditation. Who knows?
How goodly are thy tents, O Jacob, and thy tabernacles, O Israel.
Thy dwellings. I can just see Balak going...
I could totally imagine he really wanted to grab at that point somebody's sword and go...
As the valleys are spread forth, as gardens by the riverside, as the trees... Trees? Okay. Well, just talk about trees. Of Lign, aloes. Line aloes?
Maybe?
Aye?
Maybe it's like sign?
Well, we know aloe plants. Aye. Whatever. Which the Lord hath planted, and as cedar trees beside the waters.
He shall pour the water out of his buckets, and his seed shall be in many waters, and his king shall be higher than Agag, and his kingdom shall be exalted. Guy watching this.
I'm in trouble. Water shall flow from his branches, instead of he shall pour the water out of his buckets.
That makes a little more sense given the connotation.
But either way, it's a symbolism of he's going to overflow with good and strength, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. God brought him forth out of Egypt. He hath, as it were, the strength of an unicorn. Again, pew, pew, not the fantasy thing that has its own stuff. It's the ox, the great beast of burden. He shall eat up the nations, his enemies. Weird wording. He'll overcome his enemies and
probably
take everything that they have, and shall break their bones and pierce them through with his arrows. What?
Amalek would be like,
oh yeah.
Just the more that this goes on, he's like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap.
Poor Balak is going from, all right, let's hear this. No. Oh,
for flippin's sake!
You told me not to move. Well, now I'm telling you to look at the man.
Right. So read your verse and then let's hear what anger.
He lay down as a lion, and as a great lion, who shall stir him up? Blessed is he that blesseth thee, and cursed is he that curses thee.
Okay. So now we get Balak's response to all of this. Israel's doing great, they're going to stay great, and nobody's going to touch them. Balak! And Balak's anger was kindled against Balaam, and he smote his hands together. What's the Three Stooges? That just what I just did reminded me of that. I think it's Curly that constantly goes.
Your face is turning red as you're doing that.
He smote his hands together, and Balak said unto Balaam, I called thee to curse mine enemies, and behold, thou hast altogether blessed them 3 times.
Therefore now flee thou to thy place. I thought to promote thee unto great honor, but lo, the Lord hath kept thee back from honor.
I mean, your idea of him grabbing his sword, he probably had his own. Get out of my face before I kill you!
Or his hand was like on the sheath, just trying desperately to hold himself back from drawing it.
Yeah. Or you know, we had
people with him, so
exactly. For the sake of argument, it could have been two of his officers or whatever, army men, holding him back as he sits there and just fumes.
Let me at him. Hold him back. Here, hold me back. Let me at him. Okay, I think you're missing the point. There are a few good jokes every once in a while in the Disney sequels. Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, Timon and Pumbaa at one point.
Yeah, hold me back. Why are you not holding me back? Well, you know. You do.
Timon goes, let me at him. Here, hold my tail to Pumbaa. Pumbaa holds the tail. Okay. Hey, let me at him, holding him back. Okay, let's go with Timon's tail. Timon turns back, holds up his tail. I think you're missing the point.
And Balaam said unto Balak.
I get that joke moral better.
Yes. But Balaam says to Balak, it's kind of one of those, I told you. Spake I not also to thy messengers, which thou sentest me, saying?
If Balak would give me his house full of silver and gold, I cannot go beyond the commandment of the Lord, to do either good or bad of mine own mind, but what the Lord saith that I will speak.
So that was the question. Didn't I tell you? I'm doing what I was told, you know? I didn't want to die. And now behold, I go unto my people. Bye. I ain't staying here if you're this mad. Come therefore, and I will advertise thee what this people shall do to thy people in the latter days. If you really want to know how quickly you'll die, come around and I'll tell you.
So, on today's program, we are here to announce that in X amount of time, this entire country will be dead. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
Yes. The Studio C weather report. In our weather report, we have the hordes of Israelites coming down to the small battle. Yeah, these guys aren't going to last long.
Search up Studio C weather report. It's great.
Oh, it is. If it doesn't put you on the
What a
floor.
disaster.
Yeah, if it doesn't put you on the floor, then you don't know what weather is.
That guy is so fired if that was real.
Well, he would be fired in more ways than one.
Because he'd be dead with all. Did they live in a pillbox to be able to live through all of those things and still have?
Well, it could have been a bunker.
Anyhow.
And he took up his parable and said, Balaam the son of Beor hath said, and the man whose eyes are open hath said.
So he's still in vision. He hath said, sorry. He hath said, which heard the words of God and knew the knowledge of the Most High, which saw the vision of the Almighty, falling into a trance but having his eyes open.
I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not nigh. There shall come a star out of Jacob, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel, and shall smite the corners of Moab, and destroy all the children of Sheth.
Oh.
Is this a repeat?
No. His coming was to be in the future long after Moses' time. This is a prophecy of Jesus.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ
I
prophecy
kind of figured.
So,
That's usually what the star means.
true. Eventually, sometime off in the future, there is going to be another person, and considering the circumstances, I don't see him doing this right in front of Balak, but maybe he did. Anyhow, eventually, Jesus will come and he will take down Moab and he will take down all the enemies of Israel. And this may be one of those where the Israelites were like, oh, he's coming! He's going to free us from Rome and all of our other problems. And they're like, why is he dead?
Why is he not a military leader who's
Right.
going to lead us into
Right,
battle
right,
and we're not going to lose
right.
anybody?
Because he's more about love your enemies. And, the only reason why he stops things is because the righteous are being too tremendously oppressed.
Or stupid.
Well, usually
Depending on the situation.
if they're righteous, then they're not terribly stupid.
But the temple and the
Well, those aren't the righteous
strangers-
people that he's talking about.
Touche. Let's continue.
And Edom shall be a possession. Really? Interesting. Seir shall be a possession for his enemies, and Israel shall do valiantly.
Is that really how you spell seer? In
This is a
situation?
nation. Seir, in the prophetic sense, is two E's.
Yeah, there's S-E-E-R, S-E-A-R, I think, and S-E-I-R. I can't remember her.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. S-E-A-R is a company. That's where I remembered it from.
And also, that's the way you treat meat when you're first cooking it. You sear it to seal the juices into the meat. But,
Right.
Yeah, this is a seer as...
I instead of an A or E. Second
shall
E.
be a possession for his enemies. So it could either be a city or it could be a
Country?
nation that they take over or something like that. Israel should do valiantly. I don't know.
Out of Jacob shall come he that shall have dominion, and shall destroy him that remaineth of the city. Yeah, I can see where they would think that he would be a military leader with this.
Right.
But destroy in a completely different sense. It's sort of like
Right.
What was his name? Shoot, I forgot it. Gandhi.
Ah, yes.
Where
and Thoreau and
Yeah.
Martin Luther King Jr.
It's destroy by peaceful protest.
Right. Peaceful protest and peaceful...
Gathering?
peaceful overtaking, whatever.
Something like that.
There is a word for it, and you've got the beginning of it, and I don't remember the rest. Anyhow,
Nothing physically harming to another, but something that still disturbs the peace in a peaceful manner.
right?
Quotation mark.
They were able to overtake the nation of India by just saying we're not going to stop coming, and eventually the people who were ruling over them said, we're tired of hurting you. I mean,
what's the point of hurting somebody if they don't react and they don't show fear?
That too.
That's kind of how abuse usually works too, depending on the moment.
Yeah, if you stay in fear and you try to fight back, then the abuser might keep working because he feeds off of the fear
and the reaction.
I worked with a gentleman who was in the military and was in information. What's it called? Don't worry about it. He wasn't a spy. He was a person who received reports.
Communications of some kind.
No, intelligence. That's what it was. That's
okay.
Intelligence. Military intelligence. One of the most interesting oxymorons in the world. But they do have a lot of intelligence. But in this case, it's
different intelligence.
Yeah, stealing things or taking things without knowing. Anyhow, he had an area where he received reports from people. I think that his main focus was Africa, because that's what he said he got a lot of reports about. Maybe he did other stuff. It doesn't matter.
Egypt and Africa.
Right. He obviously couldn't tell me a whole lot because he didn't want to
get in trouble. It's military.
Right. It's top secret stuff, and I don't have the clearance, so whatever. But it was really interesting. He told me something of all of the, uprising, conflicts, disturbances, even civil wars and all-out wars. As a general rule, within the first month of a serious uprising happening, the people would just stop fighting and they'd figure out a way to come to an agreement. Because when you start seeing all of the death and destruction of an actual war, unless you really have tremendous amount of
desensitization,
that, but also of passion and a religious or
lust for violence,
just
maybe not that,
just a reason to carry it out. It usually boils down to religion, political,
resources,
or dang it,
resource territory.
No. The
sorry.
Prejudice. That was it. Unless you have an astounding amount of power on one of those three or all of them, you're not going to carry a war very far once you start seeing people die.
That actually reminds me of something. Fallout New Vegas, for those of you who've played it, the Legion is one of the factions that you can side with. Don't really like them at all. But the main Caesar of the Legion, has this distinct line. He invaded and killed the entirety of a settlement, and instead of leaving the bodies there, he took them with him, and went to the next settlement, ordered them to surrender, like, yeah, right, we can't fight them. Then he showed them all the dead bodies, and they surrendered. They played war, he claimed. I showed them true war, and They were afraid.
Right. And so after about the first month, sometimes 2 months.
Probably quoted that wrong, but oh well.
Yeah, close enough. I'm sure that not enough people are going to know the difference. After the first month, maybe 2 months, the conflict would basically be done. And of course, there were always the extremists that had hidden out elsewhere that might take up to 3 months, maybe 6 months if it was really crazy, to be subdued, for lack of a better word. But, this is the same kind of a thing. You've got this whole thing of the people wanted to be out of the oppression, and yet Jesus came in and said, love your enemies and take care of people, because he understood how the opposite was just so horrible
and unsustainable.
Yeah, because once you start killing people, it's like the Jaredites. You end up with two people and they kill each other, and it's like, well, that's
nobody
it.
wins in the end. Mutually assured destruction. Mutually assured destruction.
Yeah. So
It's why, in some senses, I find Fallout pretty profound, because I like to look at it for the study of human nature and the way that I would handle such a situation.
Yeah, if we were able to have the authority, whatever.
Yeah.
Depends. Anyhow, and when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever.
And he looked on the Kenites?
Good enough.
Okay.
Kenites.
And took up his parable and said, Strong is thy dwelling place, and thou puttest thy nest in a rock.
Nevertheless, rewind. Nevertheless, the Kenites shall be wasted, and until Asher shall carry thee away captive.
And he took up his parable and said, Alas, who shall live when God doeth this?
And ships shall come from the coast of Chittim. I think that later might be called Shittim, but I don't know. And shall afflict Asher, and shall afflict Eber, and he also shall perish forever.
And Balaam rose up and went and returned to his place, and Balak also went his way.
So this was done. Well, maybe this was done at another time when Balak came and said, tell me why you said this, but we don't know.
They are potentially linked and said before Balak.
Right.
Who is probably having a panic attack.
Yeah. So, whatever all of this is for position and placement of everything, he could have come out in front of his house at a later time.
I just checked that this one is only 18, but the next one's like 65 verses. Can we do this one? Or
Numbers 25?
Yeah, number 25 is only 18. Okay. The next one's 65.
Okay, well, let's
that one should be
let's
on
go
its
ahead
own.
and do 25. So, just this whole thing with Balaam, the rule of threes, and Balak is sitting there going, what the hey? And then Balaam finally has this big, long vision of everybody's going to fall before the Israelites, and
you're going to be screwed. I can't help you.
Well, but at the same time, Balak is sitting there going, well, can I just delay it a little longer? So at least it doesn't happen in my life. We don't know. But one way or the other, this is a huge prophecy about Jesus, about the future, about how everything is going to end up. And Balak and Balaam are just little pawns in this very big, very long story. So, all right, let's go ahead and do 25. Chapter 25, the Israelites who worship false gods are slain, and there should be a...
They're still doing this?
Yeah. Let's finish this first. Phinehas slays the adulterers and stays the plague. Notice that false gods and adultery go together. Yeah. Israel is commanded to vex the Midianites who beguiled them.
What does beguiled mean?
Lied.
Okay. And Israel abode in Shittim, and the people...
Well, there it is right there. Instead of a C, it's an S.
I kind of like Chittim more.
I don't know. Well...
Because it kind of sounds like kitten. Okay. And the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab.
Yeah. And let me see if I can find... I know that there's a later mention here, but let's go through this, and I'll tell you the backstory as well. And they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods, and the people did eat and bowed down to their gods.
Join us! Come on! Eat, drink, be merry, bow down before our gods, and you can have all the fun you want! Okay!
Well, you have to remember that...
That was probably overly simplified, right?
Yeah, it's basically what they did, but well, from a statement in a later chapter, and I don't remember where it is, and I don't know where I will find it, because I don't remember the verse. They kill Balaam for having tempted the people of Israel with the with these people.
Oh.
What they did was Balaam and Balak got together, and Balaam said, hey, I can't prophesy, I can't outright curse these people, but God doesn't like them doing thus and so and thus and so, and maybe somehow the word had gotten out about the Ten Commandments, I don't know. I'm sure it had, but he said, well, we've got these priestesses over here that tend to walk around at the very most scantily clad, if they wear clothes at all. So send them around and have them say to the guys, you thirsty for a good time? And bring them in. And yeah. So Balaam was behind this from what we understand. It's a quick little verse and a half where they say they killed him because he sent the people there. But they... well, let's just read. We're in 3 now, right?
I'm on 3, yeah.
Go ahead.
And Israel joined himself unto Baal
Peor. Yeah. You remember the priests of Baal
Yeah.
with Elijah?
I've just not seen the second half of it before.
Yeah.
And the anger of the
idol
Lord
at
was
Peor,
kindled.
a mountain in Moab.
And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel.
And they did this because they had these people come out and drag them in. And some of the people were stupid enough to say, hey, I think that my wife isn't good enough. I'm going to go find another whore.
When temptation isn't available, it's hard to brute force fight it.
Yeah. And the Lord said unto Moses, take all the heads of the people, chief men, and hang them up before the Lord against the sun, facing the sun, that the fierce anger of the Lord may be turned away from Israel. Did he? Let's read 5.
And Moses said unto the judges of Israel, slay ye every one of his men that were joined unto Baal Peor.
Okay, so maybe it wasn't the leaders that were killed, but he took them and said, face the sun, face God. And then he said, this is what to do. I don't know. And behold, one of the children of Israel came and brought unto his brethren a Midianitish woman in the sight of Moses and in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel, who were weeping before the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. Tent of meeting. Wait. Let's read the next verse. And
when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, saw it, he rose up from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand.
And he went after the man of Israel into the tent and thrust both of them through, the man of Israel and the woman through her belly. So the plague was stayed from the children of Israel. So Moses is married to a Midianite. So that wasn't the problem. The problem was right in front of everybody, when everybody was saying, we need to not do this, this guy brings in a woman to prostitute himself with her.
Potentially in mildly public?
Well, they were obviously in a tent, but it was obvious that it was going on because
everybody was aware of it.
Yeah, let's not say what could have been being done, but
and those that died in the plague were 24,000. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying,
Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, hath turned my wrath away from the children of Israel, while he was zealous for my sake among them, that I consume not the children of Israel in my jealousy. Wherefore say, behold, I give unto him my covenant of peace.
And he shall have it, and his seed after him, even the covenant of an everlasting priesthood, because he was zealous for his God and made an atonement for the children of Israel. He acted in the way of God. Is that
because he stopped this sexual activity that was
wrong,
terribly, terribly wrong in this case, before God just killed everybody off. Yeah. Now the name of the Israelite that was slain, even that was slain with the Midianitish woman, was Zimri the son of Salu, a prince of a chief house among the Simeonites.
And the name of the Midianite-ish woman that was slain was Cosby.
Cosby,
okay. Bill Cosby. that was... sorry.
Let's not go there.
Yeah. That is a bad comparison.
Yeah.
He's much better. The daughter of Zur, he was head over a people and a chief house in Midian. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying,
vex the Midianites and smite them.
He's at least good a comedian.
He's a good comedian, but he unfortunately did some terrible sexual things.
And I do not know that stuff, and I do not care to learn about it.
Yeah. He was put in jail. this guy was the son of the leader of a tribe of the Simeonites. For they vex you with their wiles, wherewith they have beguiled you in the matter of Peor, and in the matter of Cosbi, the daughter of a prince of Midian, their sister, which was slain in the day of the plague for Peor's sake, on account of the Peor incident. So yeah, this is a very, very bad moment in the tribe of Israel, and unfortunately a lot of people are involved in this. Obviously a whole lot of people, 24,000. I mean, that's more than with the rebellion. They only had, was it 13,000? 12,500 with the, anyhow. But yeah, this is a huge deal. And man, the level of sadness in this circumstance, because they knew what they were doing. They were drawn in by these beautiful women who came around and said, "Hey, let's go and worship our God and do all these things," and they they were condemned by God for not following the correct path and decisions on this one. So we will go more into other laws and regulations, because the next one is all about counting and saying who is ready to go into the promised land.
Got it.
So we'll go into that tomorrow.
Bye.
Have fun.